Today I'm going to respond to a question that has come my way a few times. You need to ask your doctor specifically of the dementia that your loved one is struggling with. There are over 100 types of dementias, but there are four major types that are the most common. What is dementia? The question that I'm addressing is when the dementia impacts a person completely, their daily life. That's the type of dementia that is addressing. So first of all, dementia in itself is not a disease. It's a syndrome or symptoms. There are various types of dementias, like I mentioned, which is why dementia is not a single disease. Sometimes people will say dementia or Alzheimer's. Dementia is not necessarily Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is one of the diseases that cause dementia, but not all dementia is Alzheimer's. Even though Alzheimer's consists of the largest group of dementia, Alzheimer's alone consists of at least 60% of dementia. It can go as high as 90%. So not every dementia is Alzheimer's. However, Alzheimer's is the highest type of dementia. But there are other types of dementia, but it's important to first of all understand that dementia is not this single disease that everybody has. Dementia is a group of symptoms that are caused by various diseases. So, with dementia, there's a decline in mental status, there's a mental disability that interferes with how a person lives their life. All of a sudden, someone that has legal dementia needs help with their daily living. You can't leave them alone because they wouldn't know what to do. Some people have been found dead because with dementia, someone may not even know how to get food for themselves. So they could easily starve to death. So that's dementia. Characteristics of dementia include loss of ability to think, to remember, to reason, and to make decisions. So you realize when you talk to someone with dementia, sometimes it takes them time to process what you are saying. And sometimes they are completely blank. There are times where someone has dementia that has progressed so much that you may just have to reach and gently hold their hand to say, for example, let's go. And they can't process that. To avoid giving several commands at the same time. Let's go. And you want to be in front of your loved one, or if you are a caretaker of the person you are caring for, because sometimes you might say, let's go. I notice with my dad, sometimes I'll say, let's go. And he'll start walking towards the direction that he was facing. So if I'm walking one direction and he was standing facing the other direction, the moment I say, let's go, I notice he'll start walking towards the direction that he is facing. So being in front of the person and saying, let's go, we are going this way, and make sure they can actually see you as you start to move. Otherwise, you'll be walking a long way before you realize you are alone. So, dementia impacts the ability to think, to reason, to remember. So, you might say something, and few seconds later, your loved one already forgot what you said. So, it means a lot of patience and understanding. You have to understand they are not trying to do it. They can't help it. So we need to be very kind, and you have to practice that kindness ahead of time. Think of a little baby and how patient you are with them because you know they are helpless. It's the same thing with your loved one with dementia, although your loved one is not a child. And we don't call them a child. We don't even say they are childlike because of their dignity. They have lived a full life. They have lived a full life, um, but their mental status is impacted. So always holding that respect of your loved one is not a child. They don't want to be called a child. They don't want to be treated like a child. So actually, don't even talk to them like a child because that can be very insulting. And you just, even if they are not talking, you never know how they are feeling. So always assuming that they can understand you, so you treat them like an adult and with that respect of another adult. Even though you are slower, you wait longer, you might repeat a command, let's go, uh, put on your shoes. You might repeat, but do it respectfully, always remembering they can't help it. They are not trying to do it. They are not trying to waste your time. They just can't help it. So those are characteristics of dementia. The thinking ability is very impacted. The remembering, the reasoning. They don't have common sense. Common sense goes. So while you can say something and you expect someone to understand or to think, the common sense goes. So it's really adjusting everything for your loved one or for the person that you're caring for. So those are some common characteristics of dementia. And then common symptoms include, again, loss of memory, difficulty with language. I'm noticing that sometimes my dad is lacking words, like he'll start saying something and stammer, 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 and then stop. So language starts to become a problem with people when they have dementia. Of course, trouble with daily tasks, the dressing, the brushing of teeth. You have to cue them on all these things while you can wake up and you know that you need to brush your teeth. Someone with dementia, you have to remind them daily and put the toothpaste on their brush if they are able to. As the decline continues, it may come to a time where you actually have to brush their teeth, comb their hair, groom them. So keep in mind, dementia is progressive. Dementia, unless maybe it's a UTI, maybe it's a deficiency of some sort, can be corrected. But dementia itself is not reversible. So it can be slowed down and maintained for some time, but it's progressive. It's inevitably going to progress. No matter what we do, dementia is a progressive condition. And so, what your loved one is able to do today, they may not be able to do it tomorrow. So, we have to be ready to adjust as the condition progresses. We have to be ready to adjust with it and always groomed with love and kindness for our loved ones or for the people that we care for. Remember, if you're caring for somebody that is not your parent, that person is a parent. And so the way you would want someone to treat your parents, treat them the same way. Don't laugh at them, don't mock them, don't disrespect them. They are human. And It can really hurt their feelings. And the other thing is, people with dementia are actually very fearful because they realize their vulnerability. So they become fearful and you might mistreat them. I'm not going to get emotional, right? Because I realized my dad is very fearful and he was not a fearful man. He was our protector. But they realize their vulnerability. And so, if you are not a kind person, you can mistreat somebody with dementia and they'll act like nothing is going on because they are afraid. By the way, I've worked in healthcare, so a lot of my knowledge comes from my background of work. So I have dealt with thousands and thousands of people with dementia, and it's very different for different people. But people with dementia can become very fearful. So because they are not showing you or they are just sometimes they'll just play along, it doesn't mean they are not being impacted in their spirit by our behavior. So we need to keep that in mind. Always be kind towards them. Even if they seem like they don't care, you just never know how much we are impacting them. So let's keep that in mind. The common symptoms of dementia can also impact the personality of a person and emotional changes. So some people say, my mom is very aggressive, or my dad is very aggressive. They are using curse words, swear words. I've seen people where they would come and cry because they would say, my mom was always a very kind person, but now she's cussing out everybody. And they would be very embarrassed. Sometimes people can completely change personality, and we don't quite understand why. But sometimes it can be unresolved issues, mental disturbances. So just trying different things, I always say, okay, I'm a Christian believer and I believe in the power of God, the power of prayer in our lives. So sometimes playing that very soft worship music in the background, because even when they are sleeping, when we sleep, our subconscious is and alert and always processing. So when we whatever we are doing in the background can be really impacting our loved ones. So being aware of that and just play that soft worship music, and as they absorb in the background, the more peaceful environment we can create, it can impact some of the people that become aggressive. You see, some of those environments we create can impact them slowly by slowly, and you can see it changing their personality. So don't give up, but always remember you are the adult in the room. When your loved one has dementia, you are the adult in the room. So always meditate on how you will approach them. Approach them calmly. Even when they go crazy, remain calm, because a lot of times when you remain calm, they will calm down. But when you let them impact your response, then they are going off the roof and you're going off the roof and you can't help in the situation. So remember that you're the adult in the room in the sense that they need you. So plan your approach, plan ahead of time to be calm no matter what. Um, and so they, common symptoms, they get confused, um, they don't know places, sometimes they don't know the people, and as it progresses, they will actually forget even who is caring for them. But always remember, somebody that I walked the journey with, I'm a clinical chaplain, But somebody that I walked the journey with told me something that stuck with me many years ago before I ever thought my dad would have dementia. And he would always come to see his wife. And he said, people ask me why I come every morning, every evening. Oh, the wife was in a facility. And this was an elderly man, so he was not able to take care of her. So he said, I always answer, she doesn't know me, but I know her. So I come to take care of her every morning, every lunchtime, every evening because I know her. And so we can always remember that with our loved ones. We know them. And so we come and take care of them because we know them. Even when they come to the time when they don't recognize us anymore,